Hi, I'm Karl Konrad, an immigration specialist with over 23 years of experience in helping people achieve their dreams of obtaining visas to work, travel, study and migrate permanently to Australia. In our earlier video, I explained about the Tasmanian state sponsorship for the subclass 190 visa. If you missed that, we'll leave a link at the end of this video. Today, we're going to visit the Tasmanian state sponsorship requirement for the 491 visa. With this visa, you can apply for permanent residency after 3 years. For the 491 visa, you have the option to either apply from onshore or offshore. This differs significantly from the 190 requirements, which require you to be onshore only. Since we have already spoken about the subclass 190 state nomination pathway, it is important to remember that you cannot submit multiple nominations. If you were supported for the 491 visa by the Tasmanian government, then you will not be supported for the 190 visa in the future. For the subclass 491 Tasmanian nomination, you have 5 pathways for the 2022 to 2023 program year. These are the Tasmanian Skilled Employment Pathway, the Tasmanian Skilled Graduate Pathway, the Tasmanian Established Residency Pathway, the Tasmanian Business Operator Pathway, and the Overseas Applicant Job Offer Pathway. Today we will cover the minimum requirements of each of these pathways. Each pathway will have what Tasmania calls priority attributes. There are 3 priority attribute passes: gold, green, or orange. Obviously, gold is the best type of pass to obtain, green comes in close behind, and if you're using orange, then as the color suggests, you are in danger of perhaps not being invited to apply at all. The most competitive candidates are only invited to apply for a nomination. The priority passes criteria vary depending upon which pathway you are considering. You will see what I mean as we go along. Now don't forget to check out Tasmania's website because there is additional information there regarding the fine print of many of these requirements. Now let's have a quick look at the requirements of these 3 pathways. All pathways are based upon what's called ANZSCO descriptions, and they are based upon certain skill levels. We will leave a link in the description about the ANZSCO database where you can search which skill level your occupation may be sitting at. The Tasmanian Skilled Employment Pathway. If you are working in Tasmania in a role classified skill level 1 to 3 according to ANZSCO, then you must have been working for at least 6 months immediately prior to your application and must average at least 20 hours per week over the 6-month period immediately prior to lodging your application. If you have a skill assessment and related employment in an occupation listed on the Tasmanian Onshore Skilled Occupation List, the TOSOL, this 6-month period may be reduced to just 3 months. You must be currently living in Tasmania and intend to continue to live in Tasmania, and your dependents, if any, must not be living in another state or territory. Your employment does not need to be related to your skill assessment. There must be a genuine ongoing need for your position within the business, including a minimum 12-month contract with at least 3 months remaining at the time you lodge your nomination. If you are a subcontractor, you may be considered in this pathway if you have a related skill assessment and at least 12 months business activity in Tasmania. If your employment is not related to your skill assessment, you must have the relevant qualifications and or experience consistent with ANZSCO definition for that role. Your employer needs to meet a number of other requirements, so please check the fine print on Tasmania's website. The difference from the 190 visa is that in the 491 visa for this pathway, your employment does not need to be related to your skill assessment. If you are working in a role classified ANZSCO skill level 4 to 5, then things get a lot tougher. You must have been working in Tasmania for at least 6 months immediately prior to your application and must average at least 20 hours per week over the 6-month period prior to lodging that application. Again, you must currently be living in Tasmania and intend to continue living in Tasmania, and any dependents, if any, must not be living in another state or territory. Your employment must be ongoing for at least 6 months beyond the application date. There must be a genuine and demonstrated severe labour recruitment difficulty for the role, endorsed by your employer in a statement detailing the need for the position, local recruitment and workforce development activities and strategies in place that have attempted to address that recruitment difficulty. You must have the relevant qualifications or experience consistent with the ANZSCO definition for that role. There must be opportunities for career advancement, endorsed in writing by your employer. Take note, Tasmania states that candidates who have only 6 months work experience in their ANZSCO 4 to 5 level roles are unlikely to be successful without possessing additional priority attributes. There are many priority attributes requirements as well, and we will not bore you by going through them one by one. Take a look on the screen here and hit the pause button so you can take a look. Tasmanian Skilled Graduate Pathway. You must have completed a full-time course in Tasmania with a CRICOS registered provider, and you must have lived in Tasmania for at least 1 calendar year from the start date of your course. Your course must be a minimum of diploma level or higher, at least certificate 3 related to ANZSCO Major Group 3 or Group 4 occupations. You must have studied at least 40 weeks and be currently living and continue to be living in Tasmania. You can see on the screen there are a number of priority attributes for this pathway. Please pause the video and read through them carefully. Tasmanian Established Residency Pathway. The basic requirement is to have lived in Tasmania for at least 2 years, with no more than 50% of total Australian residency period spent in another Australian state or territory, and currently be employed in Tasmania in either a role in Tasmania equivalent to an ANZSCO skill level 1 to 3, including a cumulative 6-month experience at the same level in the past 12 months with a minimum of 20 hours per week. Or you are employed on a ANZSCO skill level 4 to 5 role with a minimum of 20 hours per week, with a cumulative 12 months experience at the same level or higher in the last 18 months. Again, there are priority attributes tailored to this pathway, so please take your time to check them out by pausing the screen. If you operate an established business in Tasmania with a taxable income which is equivalent to at least 85% of the TSMT, then this is a suitable pathway for you. Of course, the TSMT may change, so be wary of this. You also need to complete key units of the Fair Work Ombudsman's Online Learning Centre. If you have a business which falls under subcontracting, then unfortunately you will not be eligible under this pathway. The priority attributes are tailored to this pathway too, so please take your time to check them out by pausing the screen. The Overseas Applicant Job Offer Pathway. You may be eligible for this pathway if you have received a formal job offer related to a nominated occupation from a well-established business in Tasmania. The position must be genuine and ongoing. If the job offer is directly related to the skill assessment, then you may get a Gold Pass, and this is the only priority pass you have for this pathway anyway. The Overseas Applicant Invitation Only Pathway. You need to be contacted by Migration Tasmania through the Skills Select system requesting you to register on the Migration Tasmanian Gateway. Your nominated occupation must be listed on the OSOP, the Overseas Skilled Occupations Profiles list. You need to have sufficient financial support for at least 6 months for your relocation to Tasmania. You need to have evidence to show that you have contacted at least 2 Tasmanian employers to discuss employment opportunities with you. You also need to conduct research about new jobs which recently are advertised related to your nominated occupation. You need to give an employment statement for each advertisement explaining how your qualification, knowledge and experience meet the requirements of those jobs. There is only one pass for this pathway, which is the Gold Pass. You will receive this once you receive an invitation through Skills Select by Migration Tasmania, as explained before. There are a number of steps necessary to register your interest with Tasmania and in the whole application process to their government, so please check their website carefully. If you need advice on any of these issues or anything relating to immigration matters, please book a time to consult with us by visiting our website at australiavisa.com. Come follow us on Facebook as well and look up our blog pages for more fascinating information stored there. As always, thanks for watching and take care out there, and I'll see you next time. So bye for now.